Ever looked at a bustling street corner with a fantastic food truck and thought, that could be me? Serving up your passion, your incredible food, directly to hungry customers, without the anchor of a traditional restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
From those charmingly simple hot dog carts to the sleek gourmet trucks and even creatively repurposed buses, the mobile food industry is buzzing with opportunity.
It really is.
And today, well, that's exactly where we're taking our deep dive just for you.
That's right. We've sort of immersed ourselves in the world of mobile food businesses, pulling together our resources to understand what it truly takes to, well, get started and thrive.
Okay.
Our goal isn't just to skim the surface, but to really unpack the essential ingredients for success, from that initial delicious idea all the way to the exciting possibilities of scaling up.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our primary source for navigating this flavorful landscape is Rich Mintzer's Start Your Own Food Truck Business. It's a really comprehensive playbook, seems like.
It is. It covers everything from the diverse range of mobile food ventures out there to the critical details of licenses, savvy marketing strategies, and, of course, the all-important finances.
Right.
And what's fascinating here is just the sheer breadth of information Mintzer provides. So our task today is to distill the most actionable insights, giving you a clear roadmap of what to consider without getting, lost in the weeds.
Yeah, cut through the noise.
Exactly. We want to provide that aha moment, that concise understanding.
Exactly. Think of this as your express lane to becoming well-informed. We'll be highlighting some genuinely surprising aspects and equipping you with practical knowledge, all while keeping the conversation engaging and definitely avoiding that textbook feel.
Definitely.
So, for someone dreaming of taking their culinary dreams mobile, where do we even begin? What are the options?
Well, the logical first step is really to understand the playing field. Mintzer meticulously outlines the various mobile food business models you might consider. We're starting with food kiosks, often situated indoors in high-traffic areas like malls and stadiums. These typically operate under specific licensing agreements.
Ah, right, like inside a mall.
Exactly. And he even points out Franchise Express kiosks from well-known brands like Ben & Jerry's and Baskin-Robbins.
Right, those smaller, often branded footprints. Then we move to the more recognizable mobile mainstays, food carts and concession trailers.
Mm-hmm. And it's quite remarkable that this is already a multi-billion-dollar industry, traditionally known for classics like hot dogs and ice cream.
Still see plenty of those.
Oh, yeah. And a significant advantage here is that the initial investment is generally lower compared to a full-scale food truck.
That makes sense. Cost.
That cost-effectiveness is a major draw for many. Food trucks, on the other hand, well, they offer significantly more space and the capacity for more sophisticated cooking equipment.
Right, like actual ovens and fryers sometimes.
Exactly. This allows for a broader menu, though regulations on what you can cook directly on board can vary by location. That's key. Mintzer wisely advises starting with a tight, well-executed menu, perhaps your signature sandwiches, tacos, or burgers, before expanding too quickly. And we've seen a real evolution beyond those basics towards healthier and, well, more gourmet offerings.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The explosion of the gourmet food truck scene.
Absolutely.
These are often driven by incredibly talented chefs with serious culinary visions, right? Delivering unique and high-quality cuisine that really challenges what people expect from mobile food.
Yeah, Mintzer gives the fantastic example of Fry Smith in Los Angeles and their inventive Rajas fries, things you wouldn't expect.
Rajas fries.
And what's truly revolutionized their success is their strategic use of websites and social media platforms like Twitter and dedicated apps to give customers up-to-the-minute information on their exact location.
It's almost like a foodie flash mob. They just appear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just hype. A survey in San Francisco, a real epicenter for food truck culture, revealed that over 90% of lunchtime customers rated the quality as either excellent or good.
Wow, 90%.
That level of customer satisfaction speaks volumes about how far this industry has come in terms of culinary credibility and appeal.
Yeah, it's not just greasy spoons anymore.
So beyond the trucks and carts that we see on the streets, Mintzer also delves into the realm of mobile catering businesses. That seems like another significant avenue.
Yes, he identifies 3 primary models there. First, customers can make their selections directly from a menu displayed on the catering vehicle itself.
Okay.
Second, food can be prepared off-site, transported, and then simply handed out to guests.
Right.
And third, which is quite common for events, the food is transported and arranged in a buffet-style setup.
Got it. And then we have the more maybe visually striking options like bus-trons, those refurbished buses.
Yeah. Restaurants. They definitely capture the imagination.
But likely come with a unique set of challenges, I guess.
They certainly do, starting with potentially higher startup costs. I mean, think about the renovations required to fit them out with commercial kitchens and maybe dining areas.
Yeah. Some offer a true mobile dining experience, perhaps catering to sightseeing tours, while others park in a fixed location and serve customers who come aboard. It's critical to research local regulations regarding cooking while the vehicle is in motion.
Oh, right. Can you even cook while driving?
Exactly. Those vary. However, as Mincer points out, in areas with significant tourist traffic, these can become a very distinctive and potentially quite profitable niche.
Interesting. So once someone has a vision for the type of mobile food business that excites them, what are the absolutely crucial next steps? It can't be as simple as just buying a truck and parking it somewhere, right?
Oh, not in the slightest, no.
Mm.
Mincer dedicates an entire chapter to the essential planning phase, and it begins with some really fundamental self-assessment.
Okay.
He poses insightful questions like, are you hungry? Tapping into that underlying passion.
Are you hungry? I love that. It immediately speaks to the deep commitment needed.
Right. And do you have the drive? Acknowledging the demanding nature of the work.
Because I can only imagine the hurdles and, well, the long hours involved.
Precisely. And then, do you have the skills? Which goes far beyond just culinary talent.
Right. What kind of skills are we talking about?
Well, he outlines a really diverse set, including marketing savvy to attract customers, exceptional customer service because you're often the face of your business, the ability to expertly multitask in a fast-paced environment, and of course, a strong foundation in food knowledge and culinary creativity.
Okay, the obvious stuff.
But he also highlights the less obvious but equally important needs. Basic repair skills for your mobile unit.
Ooh, good one. Things break.
Things will break. Proficiency in new media for online promotion, the physical stamina to handle long days, solid number skills for managing your finances, and a competitive edge to stand out in the market.
Wow, that's a surprisingly broad skill set. It really underscores that this isn't just about cooking. It's about being the CEO of a lean, mean culinary machine on wheels.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Now, who are these hungry individuals we're aiming to serve? Who are the customers?
Mincer thoughtfully breaks down potential customer demographics into several key groups. The Breakfast Club refers to those office park crowds seeking quick and convenient morning fuel.
Right. Coffee, pastries.
Exactly. High-quality coffee, fresh pastries, grab-and-go fruit options. Then you have the lunch bunch, the workforce in areas with maybe limited access to traditional restaurants. They rely on mobile vendors for their midday meal.
So for them, speed and maybe value are key.
Speed, value, and something interesting. Consider offering a signature grab-and-go item with a unique flavor profile that differentiates you from, the standard lunch fare nearby.
Right.
Think beyond just basic sandwiches.
That makes perfect sense. Understanding the specific needs and desires of your target audience during those peak demand times.
Exactly. He also identifies tastes for tourists and attendees, emphasizing the significant opportunity to capitalize on regional specialties near popular tourist attractions and convention centers.
Like the Philly cheesesteak truck in Philly.
Precisely. Think authentic NYC hot dogs, spicy New Orleans jambalaya play to the location. And then there are the late-nighters, those hungry folks looking for a bite after evening entertainment.
Okay.
So it's all about knowing your audience inside and out, and then strategically tailoring your menu and operating hours to seamlessly integrate with their routines and cravings.
So tailor. Now, a really practical question for anyone considering this. Can you just set up shop anywhere that looks promising? I'm guessing there's a pretty significant regulatory landscape to navigate.
You're absolutely right. Oh, yeah. Mincer dedicates a significant portion to the crucial world of licenses, regulations, and points of sale. And this is definitely an area where meticulous attention to detail is paramount.
Right, the red tape.
He emphasizes the absolute importance of securing all necessary licenses and permits and makes a key point that the increasingly rigorous health codes have actually played a role in enhancing the industry's overall credibility and public trust.
That's a really interesting perspective, that these regulations aren't just hurdles, but they've actually helped elevate the industry's standards. Good point.
Yeah. Mincer advises going straight to the source. checking directly with the local health department to understand the very specific requirements based on whether you're primarily dealing with prepackaged foods or preparing everything fresh on board.
Because the rules are different.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all scenario. The rules can differ quite significantly depending on your operational model.
Okay.
And as Mincer points out, in some major metropolitan areas like New York City, you might need to secure both a personal mobile food vending license and a separate permit specifically for your vehicle or unit.
Wow, double permit.
Yeah. And when you contact your local health department, be sure to ask specifically about regulations regarding hot and cold holding temperatures for different types of food, requirements for hand washing stations, waste disposal procedures. These are often key areas of scrutiny.
Got it. So double layer of permits in some places, that's good to know. And Mincer also highlights some common sticking points for health inspectors, right? Things they look for.
Yeah, things like ensuring no rust, avoiding wood surfaces, which can be difficult to properly sanitize, eliminating any sharp edges in the workspace, making sure nothing obstructs thorough cleaning, keeping all utensils properly covered, and having adequate splash guards around hand washing sinks.
Okay, details matter.
Those details really emphasize the critical focus on hygiene.
Definitely. So beyond the health department, what else? Business licenses.
Yep. Beyond the health department's purview, you'll also likely need to obtain general business licenses from your city or county. And if you choose to incorporate your business, you'll need to get an EIN from the IRS. That's your employer identification number.
Okay, the EIN. Basically a social security number for the business.
Pretty much. For tax purposes.
It sounds like a fair bit of bureaucratic groundwork to weigh. And then there are the physical limitations of where you can actually operate, zoning restrictions, for example. You can't just park your mobile kitchen wherever you fancy, I imagine.
Precisely. No. Most jurisdictions have clearly defined commercial and residential zones, and you'll need to ensure you're operating within the permitted areas. Mincer also underscores the importance of parking legally and being respectful of established brick-and-mortar businesses.
Ah, yeah. Potential conflicts there.
There can sometimes be tension, between mobile vendors and traditional restaurants vying for the same customer base. You gotta be mindful.
I can definitely see how a popular food truck could potentially ruffle some feathers with a nearby restaurant. So with all these considerations, where are some of the most strategic locations that mobile food businesses should be targeting?
Mincer outlines several key location strategies. High-foot traffic areas are always, prime real estate, as are bustling corporate parks during lunch hours and active construction sites. With the necessary permission, parking on private, empty lots can also be a viable option.
If you can get permission.
Right. Then, of course, you have dedicated food truck festivals, which can be a huge draw for both vendors and customers. Even setting up near parks and beaches might be possible, though often requiring specific permits.
Okay.
And he circles back to the critical role of social media, particularly platforms like Twitter, for providing real-time location updates to your eager followers. Let people know where you are now.
Absolutely essential. Okay, so you've navigated the licensing maze. You have a sense of where you might park. Let's delve into the nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
What's the typical day-to-day work environment like? Is it glamorous?
Glamorous might be a stretch. Mincer aptly describes it as a commercial environment, highlighting the fact that it's a demanding business just like any other, with its own established rhythms and routines. This often begins with early morning sourcing of fresh ingredients, meticulous stocking of the mobile unit, the commute to your designated sales location, the intense period of customer service and sales, ongoing marketing efforts, often utilizing social media during any lulls, and then the absolutely crucial end-of-day cleanup.
The cleanup.
Which, as Mincer notes, shares many similarities with the cleaning protocols of a traditional restaurant kitchen. It's thorough.
So even with the mobility, it's still a lot of the same fundamental tasks, just with that added layer of driving around and maybe setting up in different spots.
Exactly. And even if you utilize an off-site commercial kitchen for prep, which many do, you're still juggling inventory management, ensuring food safety, and staying on top of that all-important hygiene. It's a highly multitasking intensive job.
Requires culinary skill and business smarts.
Absolutely. Both. Now, let's pivot to how you actually let people know you exist and, maybe more importantly, where to find you on any given day. Marketing.
Right. Mincer dedicates a significant section to marketing strategies, and it all starts with something basic. Registering your business name.
Foundational. Choose a name that is not only memorable and relevant to your food, but also, crucially, check that no one else nearby is using it.
Do your homework.
Yeah. As your brand gains traction, he even suggests considering trademarking your name for added protection. And he includes some really fun and creative examples of actual food truck names. Gives you a sense of the personality.
Like what? Any examples jump out?
Oh, things that are puns or play on the food.
Yeah.
Really memorable stuff. That branding extends directly to your vehicle's design.
The truck itself.
Yeah. Mincer emphasizes making it big, bold, and exciting, ensuring it visually communicates your overall concept. He uses the example of the dim and then some truck with its attention-grabbing bright red octopus.
Okay, so it needs to stand out.
Definitely. Investing in professional vehicle wraps and eye-catching artwork is a key element in making a strong visual impression.
And the core concept itself seems absolutely vital, not just the food type, but the whole theme.
Exactly. The entire theme and customer experience you cultivate. Mincer highlights examples like the Louisiana Territory truck specializing in Cajun cuisine, or the grilled cheese truck.
Comfort food.
Right. It's about carving out a distinct identity that immediately sets you apart from the competition. That overarching concept should flow through everything: design, logo, menu.
Makes sense.
And when it comes to getting your name and location out there, social media is an absolute game changer. Mincer stresses that platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram are indispensable.
For announcing locations, specials.
Exactly. Announcing your daily location, promoting special offers, engaging directly with your customer base. He even recommends assigning someone specific on your team to consistently manage social media.
Like a dedicated role.
Yeah. Successful mobile food businesses use engaging content like behind-the-scenes glimpses of food prep or quick polls asking customers what specials they'd like to see. It builds a community, not just a following.
It's like having a dynamic, real-time billboard and a direct line to your customers all rolled into one. Very powerful. And it seems that even for a mobile business, having a dedicated website is pretty much essential now.
Absolutely. Mincer argues that even owners of simple food carts should invest in a basic website.
Really? Even for a cart?
Yeah. He outlines essential content, an informative About Us section, your story, your philosophy,
Okay.
your current menu with pricing, an enticing photo gallery showcasing your food and setup, and any press or positive reviews you've received. Credibility boosters.
Right. And what about those apps? The food truck finders.
He mentions those too. The increasing popularity and usefulness of food truck finder websites and mobile apps that help hungry customers track down their favorite mobile eats in real time. You want to be listed there.
So it's a multi-pronged approach, being discoverable in the physical world and online. And beyond digital, what other practical marketing ideas does Mincer suggest?
He covers a diverse range of tactics. Things like offering engaging giveaways, running fun contests, leveraging good old-fashioned word of mouth.
Still works?
Oh, yeah. Participating in local community events, considering targeted advertising, seeking out relevant sponsorships, and actively engaging in public relations efforts can all play a significant role.
Building that local presence.
Exactly. And he strongly emphasizes the enduring importance of positive customer relations, that simple act of providing friendly, efficient service with a smile. That can create loyal patrons more than anything.
Service is key. Now, let's pivot slightly and explore mobile event catering. Seems like a logical extension for many mobile food businesses.
It is indeed. And Mincer advises those venturing into catering to initially focus on a specific niche, perhaps smaller events like cocktail parties or kids' birthdays, to gain experience and build a solid reputation first.
Don't bite off more than you can chew initially.
Exactly. He points out that catering for a private event is often a different dynamic than individual sales at a food truck rally. You're typically contracted for a specific function and headcount.
Right, different setup.
And it's also crucial to thoroughly check local regulations regarding, say, on-site cooking and serving alcohol at catered events. Rules might differ.
Good point. And unlike the regular routes of a food truck, catering gigs might be more occasional, especially at first. What about kitchen access?
Right. Mincer notes that the majority of mobile caterers rely on commercially licensed kitchens, commissaries for their food prep, and then transport the finished dishes to the event.
So prep happens off-site, usually.
Often, yeah. Having flexible kitchen scheduling options is particularly important for businesses that handle catering bookings on an as-needed basis, although that flexibility might affect your costs compared to a long-term kitchen rental.
Okay. So, similar to the street food side, understanding your target market is also crucial in catering. Knowing what food works for different events.
Absolutely. Mincer encourages in-depth research. What do people expect at corporate gatherings versus kids' parties versus weddings? Scout your competition in the local catering scene, too.
See what others are doing.
Yeah. When it comes to curating your catering menu, it should be strategically based on your culinary strengths, the party sizes you can comfortably handle, and the specific types of events you're targeting.
And logistics, like ingredients.
Don't forget to factor in ingredient availability, the amount of help you'll have, and the overall time commitment. Offering creatively themed menus can also be a highly effective way to attract clients.
And the pricing. That must be different too. Not just selling individual tacos.
It is. Mincer suggests a general guideline of aiming for a markup of approximately 3 times your total expenses when pricing catering services. It's a ballpark, but a starting point.
3 times costs, okay.
Effective marketing ideas for catering include leveraging word of mouth, professional business cards, brochures, a dedicated section on your website highlighting availability and themes.
Professionalism seems extra important here.
Absolutely paramount in catering. And having well-defined catering contracts detailing everything, food selections, quantities, service, costs, is critical. Get a deposit.
Always get a deposit.
Always. Finally, meticulous logistical planning for every stage transport, setup, serving, and thorough cleanup is essential for consistently delivering successful events.
Okay, this all paints a really exciting picture.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the bottom line. The money. What are the all-important financial considerations?
Right. Mincer is clear. Despite the mobility, it's still fundamentally a business. It demands a solid understanding of all the costs involved.
Starting with startup costs.
Exactly. He breaks these down, starting with initial business startup costs. These can vary dramatically depending on the scale and type, a simple cart versus a fully loaded truck. Huge difference.
Obviously.
The sample worksheet he provides includes essential items like buying or leasing the vehicle, any retrofitting or customization, permits and licenses, equipment, insurance, legal, and financial setup fees.
Insurance definitely strikes me as non-negotiable.
Oh, essential. And getting the legal and financial structures right from the outset contracts, choosing the right business structure like an LLC or corporation, seems crucial. Mincer even strongly recommends getting a qualified accountant involved early.
For taxes, tracking expenses.
Absolutely. Then you have the ongoing operating costs, the regular expenses that keep the business running day to day.
Like food, gas.
Yep. Recurring costs of food, ingredients, parking permits, delivery costs for supplies, fuel, vehicle maintenance, packaging materials, ongoing marketing.
They add up.
They do. And Mincer wisely points out that these operating costs can fluctuate due to external factors like weather, tourist seasons impacting demand, changes in parking rules or fees. You need some buffer.
Right, seasonality. And as the business grows, presumably there are growing pains, financial ones.
Inevitably. Scaling up brings new challenges. For example, how do you manage inventory and production when demand starts to surge?
Yeah, how much food do you make?
Exactly. Mincer touches on that balancing act, preparing enough to meet demand during peak sales windows without ending up with excessive, costly waste. Determining optimal quantities often comes down to trial and error and really analyzing your sales data.
Learning curve.
Big time. Then there's pricing your menu items. You need to carefully consider your cost of goods, what your customers are realistically willing to pay, and what competitors are charging.
Finding that sweet spot.
Right. Ultimately, the goal is to establish a pricing strategy that allows you to achieve a healthy profit margin after covering all your costs. Make it sustainable.
So you've meticulously crunched the numbers. You have a clear picture of your funding needs. Where do you even begin to look for the initial capital to get this dream rolling?
Mincer emphasizes that the absolute first step is to first do the math. You need a rock-solid understanding of both startup and ongoing costs before realistically seeking funding.
Know your number.
Exactly. He then outlines a range of potential funding avenues aspiring mobile food entrepreneurs can explore.
What are some of the most common routes? Where do people usually start?
Personal savings are often the very first place entrepreneurs turn. Makes sense, right? Less strings attached.
Yeah, your own money.
Following that, many consider borrowing from supportive friends and family. Though Mincer wisely advises ensuring these arrangements are clearly defined so everyone's on the same page about expectations and control.
Avoid awkward Thanksgiving dinners later.
Precisely. You might also have existing assets you could sell. Traditional bank loans and credit union financing are another common option, but these typically require a really solid business plan.
The plan is key.
Always. The Small Business Administration, the SBA, offers resources and can also provide loan guarantees, which helps.
Okay. What about bigger money? Investors.
For larger-scale ventures with significant growth potential, you might explore seeking out outside investors, angel investors, venture capitalists. But this generally needs a very polished, compelling business plan and a strong presentation highlighting your expertise, passion, and realistic financial projections.
High stakes there.
Yeah. Be prepared for some very detailed, probing questions from those types of investors. They want to see a return.
It sounds like a well-articulated and thoroughly researched business plan is an absolute prerequisite no matter which funding path you pursue. What about alternative routes, like franchising?
Mincer does touch on franchising, both buying into an existing food franchise and, maybe further down the line, franchising your own successful mobile concept.
Buying in seems easier, maybe.
Buying into a recognized brand can offer advantages, sure. Instant name recognition, proven products, operating systems training. But it also comes with ongoing royalty payments and potentially less creative freedom.
Trade-offs.
Exactly. Mincer provides a list of various food franchises with mobile-friendly models. Licensing is another related option, kind of renting a brand, potentially lower costs, but fewer support structures.
And franchising your own business.
That's generally a longer-term goal. Requires meticulous documentation of your unique processes, strong brand development, and professional legal help. It's a big step.
Okay. Finally, let's consider the end game, maybe. Someone's been running a mobile food business and is thinking about either buying another one or selling their own. What are the key factors then?
Right. When considering buying an existing business, Mincer advises conducting a thorough inspection, the vehicle, all the equipment, assess its condition, potential lifespan, due diligence.
Check under the hood, literally and figuratively.
Absolutely. When it comes to selling your own business, accurately determining its proper valuation is critical.
How do you even value it?
It involves a range of factors. Fair market value of comparable vehicles, condition of equipment, location if it's a fixed kiosk, any franchise agreements, tangible assets like the truck, but also intangible assets.
Like what? Goodwill.
Exactly. A loyal customer base, established brand recognition. For catering businesses, your client list is often a particularly valuable asset.
Makes sense. How do you find buyers?
Finding potential buyers can involve word of mouth within the industry, social media, signs on your unit, listing on relevant online marketplaces. Getting a professional business valuation can be a worthwhile investment too.
Get an expert opinion on the price.
Yeah, ensures you're setting a realistic and competitive sales price. Research comparable businesses recently sold. Consider your vehicle's condition. Location matters hugely for kiosks, and that brand loyalty, factor it in.
Right. And then deciding if you stay involved after selling.
Finally, yeah. As the seller, you'll need to consider the extent of your involvement, if any, after the sale is finalized, and negotiate those terms clearly with the buyer.
Wow, that's an incredibly comprehensive overview. From that initial spark of an idea all the way through funding and even buying or selling, there's clearly a huge amount to consider in this mobile food world.
Absolutely. The key takeaways for anyone considering this path are, I think, the diverse and exciting opportunities, the absolute critical importance of thorough planning at every stage.
Planning, planning, planning.
The necessity of truly understanding your target customers and that complex regulatory landscape, the power of effective marketing, and the fundamental need to diligently manage your finances from day one.
So for you, our listener, who's been on this deep dive with us, perhaps this has ignited a culinary spark. What unique food concept could you bring to life on wheels? What unmet local market need could you uniquely fulfill? I really encourage you to start exploring the specific regulations in the existing competitive landscape right in your own community.
Do that local homework.
Yeah. It's clear that while it demands significant hard work, dedication, and a strong entrepreneurial spirit, the mobile food industry offers a very real, tangible opportunity to pursue your food dreams and build something truly your own.
And we certainly encourage you to revisit the source material we've discussed, Richard Mincer's book, and explore the many additional resources out there for an even deeper dive into any specific areas that particularly piqued your interest. There's a wealth of valuable information available.